Hi guys, my name is Christine, and today I'm talking about why do I not believe in myself? So if you've been struggling with believing in yourself, in self-belief, and you're wondering basically, how can I change that? Then I got a few tips and a few bits of advice that may actually help you with this situation. Now, being able to believe in yourself is extremely important, because if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in your ability to do something, then it's very unlikely that you will actually be able to do it. So it's important that we try and switch this thing around so you can start believing in yourself. Or maybe this, could just give you a bit of a pick me up on a day where you're feeling a little bit unsure of yourself and your abilities, and things like that. Okay. So the first thing that I want you to really think about is to go back in your life and look at basically the old stories that you've told yourself about yourself. And these old stories, if you don't believe in yourself, are probably still you probably still think about them all the time, right? So did you have someone in your life that told you that you were stupid and you believed them, right? Sometimes that can happen when you're a kid, right? I had that happen to me as a kid. I had older siblings that would often say things like, you're stupid, and things like that. It's just something that siblings do, right? But when you're younger, you kind of believe it. You kind of accept it, because when you're younger, you kind of just soak up things as like a sponge. So it's important that you need to look back in your life, and evaluate basically some of these old stories that you tell yourself about yourself, because it's very likely that a lot of them are not true, or they're exaggerations. Okay, so if you have a tendency to say things about yourself like, oh, I'm dumb, or I'm stupid, or whatever it may be that you keep on telling yourself, really take a hard look at that, and maybe journal about it for a while and say, kind of look at it from a different angle. So one of the things that helps, if you write a statement about yourself at the top of a blank piece of paper, and make counter arguments as to why that's not true. So if you've got a belief like, oh, I'm stupid, right? List the reasons why you're not stupid. Like perhaps you passed your driving test. Perhaps you passed an exam when you were younger and you got a really good grade. Perhaps you was able to help someone out of a sticky situation. Perhaps you was able to solve a problem for your grandparent, or for one of your parents, or for one of your friends. List ways that it's not true, right? Because, what you got to remember is that human beings, we're not black and white creatures, right? So if you've done things in the past that have been perceived as stupid, right? That just means that you're human. Everyone makes mistakes. You're not going to get everything perfect every single time. Like, for example, in this video is not going to be perfect. I know it's not going to be perfect, you know? So I'm not expecting it to be perfect either. I'm just trying to give the best advice that I can. And if I feel like I've done that, then I feel like I've done a good job on the video, right? Everything's very nuanced, and as human beings, it's a very gray area, right? So you're not just one thing, right? So if you keep on saying things like, oh, I'm ugly, or I'm dumb, or whatever, you got to really take a hard look at that and actually see if that's true, right? So there was a time in my life where I actually believed that I was really, really ugly, but I discovered that that wasn't actually true. I may appear ugly to you or to other people, but there are people in my life who have told me that I'm beautiful, who have told me that I'm pretty, who have told me that I'm good looking, right? So I know that even if I don't think I'm good looking, other people do. So therefore, it must be true. I've never really had too much of trouble getting on a date with someone, right? When I was dating, I attracted my wife. She's decided to stay with me, and she's attracted to me, so I must be doing something right there, right? But sometimes, because we get so used to being hard on ourselves, I think, we get accustomed to bringing ourselves down, right? Because usually you're way more harder on yourself than you are other people. And I know that is true for me. But you've got to understand that that is what's happening. You're just being extra hard on yourself because it's your life, and you're seeing the world from your point of view, and you're looking back maybe at the past of your mistakes. You see? So you've got to look at these things and realize what led up to you not believing in yourself. What beliefs do you have about yourself that are limiting, that are negative? Okay, so this all goes into changing then the concept that you have of yourself, your self concept. Because when you change your self concept, right, and you change who you believe that you are, that's when your outer reality starts to change too. So if you believe that you're someone with confidence when in the past you believed that you wasn't, and you start really feeling that and feeling that, you know what, I am actually a confident person, that's when you start acting more confident in the world and you start changing your behavior. And therefore, if you feel confident in yourself, you start getting better results in all different sorts of areas, right? And you come across better when you're talking to people. So it's really important that you change your self-concept, because that's one of the things that is going to make you believe in yourself more, right? Things that have happened to me recently have changed my belief a bit. Like, I was going through a grieving period and I was starting to not believe in the things that I used to believe in. It really changed my worldview going through that grief. My belief in good things happening for a reason, that really shook. That was one of my strongest beliefs, and that shook that belief because I went through something that to me just didn't feel like it made sense, right? And I think sometimes when our worlds get shaken up and our paradigm changes, and when that happens, we sometimes do take a knock in our self-confidence. We do stop believing in things, right? So let's take the big example of like faith, right? Some people believe in God all their lives and they then suddenly go through some turbulent situation and then they stop believing in God or whatever religion that they believed in, because let's say they were avid Christians or whoever it was, and whatever religion, right? And suddenly something bad happened and it didn't make sense to them because they have, done everything right according to these religious texts, or the religious texts that they were studying and was following, right? And that shakes their faith, it shakes their worldview, and it takes them a while to regain that faith back. And sometimes you kind of have to look at that like when it comes to believing in yourself, right? When you're younger, a lot of the time you do believe in yourself, right? When you're really small, you have a lot of fire, you have a lot of energy, and in a way kind of life beats it out of you as you grow up and as you get older and you see that life isn't kind of what we kind of imagined it to be when we were younger. And it's all about trying to get back to that place where we start having that unstoppable faith, that belief again. So if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in your abilities, then at the moment you've got to accept that you're in a turbulent time, that you're in an area right now that you are struggling at, right? And you need to find a way to regain that faith, that belief in yourself. Okay, so one of the other things that can really stop people believing in themselves is low self-esteem as well. So if you've struggled with low self-esteem, then of course you're not going to have much faith in yourself, much belief in yourself, right? So that's something else that you need to take a hard look at. Now, one of the things that I've personally seen that I've used that really does raise my self-esteem and makes me feel good about myself is coming into my own power and taking action, basically, and trying to resolve things and basically dropping the victimhood mentality, right? And actually taking control. Because when you're a victim and you're sitting there and you're basically thinking, oh, woe is me, life never works out to me, and you're crying and you're whinging, right? That for me has never worked, right? I used to believe that, oh, if I whinged enough about it, the universe would feel sorry for me and give me what I wanted. It's almost like this false belief that the more you get angry or upset about something, the more likely it is to actually turn around and switch around, when actually the opposite is true, at least what I've personally found, right? What I found that actually changes my life, what actually raises my self-esteem and makes me believe in myself more is when I take action, whether that's feeling like I've been wronged and actually going up to that person and explaining to them why they've wronged me instead of just crying in a corner, hoping that they'll one day realize that they made a mistake, right? Or being passive aggressive towards them and expecting them to know what they did to me, right? No, sometimes the best thing you can do is take your life into your own hands and charge forward and do what you believe is right. That will make you feel empowered. That will make you feel like you believe in yourself, especially if it works, right? Let's say you're determined to lose weight, right? Let's say you feel like you're overweight and you want to lose a stone or whatever. Take that into your hands. Take your life into your hands, right? And do it. Achieve it, right? And if you achieve it and you lose that stone, you're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel amazing about yourself because you took your life into your own hands, you charged forward, and you got it done, right? That's what's going to make you feel better about yourself. That's what's going to make you believe in yourself, when you can actually, in a way, bend reality to your will, right? Instead of being a victim to it, right? Trying to take your life into your own hands and stop expecting other people in your life to solve things for you. Solve it yourself. Take action yourself, and don't take no for an answer, right? When it comes to these things, especially when it comes to your career. Obviously, there are occasions where you do have to take no for an answer, and I'm sure you're aware of those things, right? But when it comes to your own life and things that you want, like let's say you want a certain type of job, right? You can't just wait and, just send, one application and hope that it follows through. Sometimes one of the greatest ways that you can get a job is thinking out of the box and thinking more creatively, right? And one of the ways that you can do that is by sending off your resume or your CV in a very unique way, right? So for example, let's say you want to be an architect, right? And you've got a degree and you're trying to get an architecture job or something like that. Why don't, you create like a blueprint for your resume, right? Make like get like one of those pieces of paper. Like, I think it's like blue paper, you get those like architecture things. And that's what I've seen in like movies and stuff. Write your resume on that, right? And send it off, because that will look way more unique, right? Because sometimes all it takes to actually achieve what you want to achieve is just thinking out of the box a little bit, right? But that's just one example, right? There are many ways that you can take your life into your own hands, and with force, with power, you can actually get to what you want, right? By taking your life in your own hands instead of being the victim, right? Sometimes you need to drop that victimhood and take your life into your own hands in order to change your life. And by doing so, you'll believe in yourself, right? Because there's that Dale Carnegie quote that I leave at all of the videos that I've been making recently, which is, inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. So don't be just sitting at home and thinking about what you want to achieve, or thinking about how sad your life is. Go out and get busy. Start taking action, because that will give you confidence and courage, right? And that's something that you really need to consider and think about, and that will help you believe in yourself more. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.